Let's see here. Retweet there. Good afternoon, good evening, chat. Can I get a mic check from anyone? Make sure everything's all synced up. Mic working. Nice. All right. We'll just hop right into it in just a second here. Welcome everyone to the Tools of the Trade live stream. I'm your host, Captain Cole, and I'm joined by my co-host Trip, also known as Crypto ISO on Crypto Twitter. We have an awesome live stream planned for you guys today with a very special guest. But first and foremost, would all of our incredible viewers do me a favor, make us look good for the YouTube algo and smash that like button and make sure to subscribe. Also want to take a quick second before we jump in to thank our sponsor Phemex, one of the only non-KYC derivatives exchanges left in crypto. So they're right now offering a $6,000 welcome bonus just for signing up and depositing. So click the link in the description below and get trading today. Okay, so now that I'm done chilling, the last thing I'm going to say is nothing we say here on the Tools of the Trade live stream is meant to be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors, and this information is for educational purposes only. So with that said, Trip, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. It's good to be back in front of the charts. I was doing some skiing in Big Sky. So I've been trading much, but I've been observing how people are getting a little chopped up in this headline season. So it'll be good to kind of go through some of the liquidity that we were looking at last stream and see how things panned out.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think without further ado, I'm really excited to have our buddy on here today. A man who needs no introduction, one of the good friends of mine in crypto Twitter, Ponzi. How's it going, my man?
What is up, fellas?
How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. No complaints. Just getting chopped up, like Trip just said, and playing some COD.
The good life, right?
Yeah, you know how it goes. The internet life.
Love it. So yeah, I think we just kind of hop right in. Trip, what are your thoughts on the DXY right now? I feel like that's the elephant in the room, and then we can kind of pivot to BTC and alt from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're just looking at where resistance is and where a possible retracement could go, like how far it could go up to, and then combine that with Ichimoku. I mean, here just you can kind of confirm if I'm right or not. I mean, we're trading above the Kijun, the Tenkin's right here, it's holding it, we're in the cloud. So is there a strong possibility this can push up to 107? Does 50% retracement off of this high to this low? I mean, this diagonal respected price pretty well, and if you were going to draw another trend line here, like we've broken out of a downtrend that basically started November, mid-November. So given kind of the commentary from Powell and higher rates for longer and how risk assets have traded alongside those comments and what the dollar's been doing, specifically some of these altcoins looking at market structure, it wouldn't surprise me if this pushes up more. And then, in that case, it seems like shorting these bounces has been somewhat of the play. And it's starting to look a lot more like distribution. And so I wouldn't necessarily have anything else besides these short scalp longs, which, to be honest, I'm not that good at. I mean, looking at altcoins and the volatility they had, the moves are becoming much smaller now, much faster. There's less liquidity. You can still trade it. It's just, do you want to trade it? You can sit out, but I'm also looking at some other indicators like, TD sequential on higher time frames. So maybe we can talk about those, but it seems like the dollar is going to push up more, based on this chart.
Yeah, I mean, that right there, you're showing the edge to edge setup, and that was kind of activated yesterday with yesterday's close. And that, the setup is it pushes to 107, the other end of the cloud. And from there, we can kind of assume risk assets will be sold off. So Ponzi, what's your take now on, I guess, the crypto markets in general? It'd be great to get your screen and kind of see what you've been looking at,
absolutely.
thinking about.
Let me share screen. I've been scalping and it's been not so fun because the liquidity is gone, specifically on alts. How do I share? Dude, that's so funny. I use Restream and I still don't know. It's not giving me an option to share screen. Just extra
Bottom right?
camera presentations or local video.
Huh.
I'm an idiot. Here we
You're
go.
good.
It's the arrow.
All right, check it out. So, what I really wanted to see in the last day or two, I was kind of hoping we would have a little deviation to sweep some lows here, take out some liquidity,
Yep.
and then at some point target the monthly open and then play it from here. So I was going to try to catch any liquidity I could on this lower end for depending on the reaction, of course. If we just strip straight through it, I'm pulling all bids. But I do have bids set down to like 21,420, I'd say.
I like that. I see that order block to the left there too. It's nice.
And then just watch the price action develop into this area. Probably from here, scale out. If we get to the monthly open with some serious volume and the bid is strong again, Binance is leading, then I probably won't even TP and I'll fucking gig a bull.
Swing for the fences. Let's go. I love to hear that. No, I love the way you kind of set up the triggers for both ends, right?
Yeah, always. But the thing is, like, everyone is super bearish right now, which is sentiment's huge, but not
Rightfully
everything,
so.
of course.
But yeah, for sure.
And we haven't just blown out of the bottom side of this. Alts look like fucking ass. Sorry, I don't know if you guys care about my language on the show at all.
For it, man. We're pretty off the cuff.
I'm short mana. This was like one of the easiest setups I had seen in so long. Up here,
underside retest.
Yeah, this thing is going to go to 45 cents without a doubt. And a lot of alts look like this. They just look like dog. But
yeah, you can. I feel like, sorry to interrupt, but like you take the low, right, that they put in, and then you take the high, and then it's like wait till it comes to at least a 50% or 61.8 fib on like the entire move, to where maybe that's where you get some sort of reaction, and then you can trade it, but short the lower high again, maybe.
Yep. Just compound, basically.
The liquidity's gone. The narrative in terms of alts, there's no more rotation hot ball liquidity running around these alts. So that's the
just dump on each other basically right now.
Yeah,
like everyone's trying to get out the door, and the door is not big enough for any of us, let alone all.
And everything looked good for a while, right? We had
Agreed.
like 6 weeks of froth, and now it's just pain and misery.
Just nukerino.
And like if I zoom out, I think this looks like shit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like this entire drive.
I agree with that. The yearly open is just like a scary thing to think about, right? Like if we go back down near that area, so much inefficiency to be filled.
Exactly.
19.2 is an interesting level on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have the next few days should be interesting. I don't know about if you guys are looking at any Fed schedules, but do we have any sort of conversations coming along the weeks that should be interesting and give us some volatility to trade, or no?
Yeah,
I feel like we have something on Friday, right?
Well, we have NFP. I mean, here's the calendar. There's CPI. I mean, later on in the month, you have FOMC. Here, let's go. So we had some JOLTS numbers today, or was that?
Yep.
Yeah, we
did this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday, you're going to get non-farm and unemployment, right? That's obviously a hot topic. The 14th, you're going to get inflation data, right? CPI. And then PPI is one of them. Core PPI will probably be coming up.
What'd you guys make of the Silvergate news today?
Okay, so March 22nd is the FOMC. So like markets typically trade on eggshells like around these events. And so that's how you get chopped up. Like if you just look at like what Bitcoin's been doing on a 12-hour chart, like I don't have any interest in trading that. Like Ethereum, like don't have any interest in trading that. Alts are just bleeding against these things.
Except XRP, of course, for some reason it just cured cancer and now it's up only.
It's ridiculous. I've been trying to short this thing. Like I'm 1 for 2 right now, and I'm in the third short here. And
it's giving me 2019 vibes or 2018.
Man, I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Dude.
Just the unreal strength, right? Like,
and I tried to chase it that year. I won't forget that. It was pretty frustrating.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Like I think when it moves, especially, I think the SEC news today with Grayscale or yesterday gave kind of some push to XRP to kind of keep barreling up. Yeah, that strength is unreal. But what was the Silvergate news, Ponzi?
They're liquidating, I think.
The actual bank. It's headline season, which is how you get chopped up.
100%.
So, Q1 is going to end soon, which is kind of hard to believe because it went fast. But between the 14th and the 22nd, I mean, like CPI and then, it's my dog, sorry, FOMC, like, things went up a lot, right? So it's people are taking profits. Like some of these things are still up a lot from the bottom lows. So you got to just think about like distribution takes a little bit. It was pretty hard to figure out if it was going to be distribution up here, but if we break the 21.3, that's technically like a lower low, right, on Bitcoin.
Yep.
So, Ethereum, where's that low? So that's 1460, right? And you start looking at the fibs, like is 1335 unreasonable to think about from here? Not really.
I like 1395. I've liked that as a bid for a while now. So if you bring that upon me, I will be very happy.
Yeah, and so BTC, I mean, this 19.3 is the 61.8. Like if the dollar's going to keep going up to that level, then these are things that like are very feasible in my mind. Alts can bleed a lot more.
If you showed me the chart that you have up right now without any sort of sentiment, if you didn't tell me what the asset was, if I didn't know anything, if I didn't have a bias or a narrative, my immediate reaction would be to long a retest of that diagonal breakout.
Yeah, I know, right? That's like
which would be
You're not wrong, dude.
That'd be too deep. Yearly open. So maybe does it go that deep? And if it does, everyone's calling for 10K. Guarantee sentiment is reset.
100%, dude. I'm calling for 10K there. Get the fuck out of
here. Yeah. So it's tricky. I mean, just outside of like BTC and ETH, when you start to see these red deltas build up and price still going down, that means spot is getting dumped and people are trying to long it. And so I wanted to buy Lido at a certain level and I was like, I'm going in here. And like when that failed, it just kept bleeding, right? So
pull that chart up. How's that looking, by the way? I haven't
Lido? Yeah. Looks like it's going to go to 212 and has the opportunity to maybe do like this.
The range low thing, yeah.
Right? And if you look at it against our friends Bitcoin and Ethereum, which has primarily been a great way to trade it, like it's just going down against it, right? So where does that go to? I'm not sure, but the thing continues to bleed. And like if you're just trading a diagonal, 50%, 210 right here, that's off of like this 90 cents to 330. Right. Yeah. This is where like I talk about like this is the swing high, swing low, like find the fib where it may bounce. That's kind of like the game. And then I think if we looked at the liquidity on it,
it's so hard to trade those staking derivative tokens.
There's like a fundamental like narrative to it, which kind of gives it credence to going up whenever it's like quote unquote undervalued. But yeah, like the liquidity on it, there's been like a bunch of Dragonfly dumping it. Founder of Maker Rune's been swapping it for Maker. Like there's a whole bunch of sellers in the market who are basically, TPing, taking their profits off.
Yeah, they smoke it every time it gets here. This is the thing though, like the moves on it, you used to get full delta reversals on these altcoins. Now you're getting like, okay, maybe an hour you can trade it and then you have to get out, right? So it's like you will get to a point where this becomes exhausted and you really want to look green circles, like green circles. These are longs. These are all longs entering right here. We want to see like
apes longing the lows.
Yeah. So I just am kind of in like a observing mode, knowing what is coming on the macro front. And I've been here before trying to long this. I remember like trying to long CHZ when it was like fully red delta, like for like a month. And it just didn't work. Right. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm going to wait till there's some higher time frame stuff that maybe looks like you get a bounce, but everything in between, like right now is such a short-term move, and you can trade it if you want. I'm just not that type of trader.
Yeah, just looking at Bitcoin for me, and like this is like what I'm kind of known for, right? This like Ichimoku edge to edge setup. So you get like blue line over the yellow line, you get Chiku span above price, and then like close inside the cloud, and then like obviously you're targeting the upper edge here at like 31.8, and then it'll flatten out to 29.2. But the ideal entry in this case is always on the blue line. And if we look at the blue line right now, it's at 21.2, 21.3, call it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So like, yeah. But I'm saying like the whole point is like, this 3-day candle just opened up yesterday, and we still have 2 days to go, and that kind of takes us into Friday with NFP. So it wouldn't surprise me to get like a move down to sweep this previous monthly low from February, and then potentially wick back in and go up. That would be like my best case scenario. I'd like to remain bullish. The echo bubble is kind of over in the sense that it was much shorter than people expected. It was less BTC propellant because there's still so much fucking greed in the market, man. Like the market is still PvP. Like we saw the alt market cap barely rise. That means no new retail participants are kind of coming into the space, so everyone's just dumping on each other. And like you said, Ponzi, the hot ball of money rotation is kind of just like fizzled out. So everyone's going for the exits. Everyone's just trying to get whatever profits they can get out with. And at this point, it doesn't seem very likely that this 21.2 level will hold. But I'm hopeful between 20.3 and 21.2. Those are kind of like my two levels I'm watching. Invalidation on the setup goes like below the cloud at 18.7. But again, like, can we wick down here and do that? For sure. So yeah, I'm kind of short-term bearish, especially with the DXY, like, Trip showed. It just seems that right now the market is pricing in risk off. And, this Kijun is at 107.8. The daily edge to edge is to 107.9. So like there's a lot of reasons to be short-term bearish, or at least expect healthy pullbacks across the board. So I think that kind of leads into alts right now, right? Like we've seen them bleed. Besides ETH-BTC, that's like the one thing I like to always look at. And like it held its lows. It's been in this like 600-day range, and the thing just will not die. So like when this does break out to up or down, like you don't fade that direction. That's one thing I know. So
Yeah.
Eagerly watching this. We're still above the mid. I'd like to think that we trickle up to the top at some point, and then maybe that's when alts kind of run. But who knows, man? This is kind of a big chop fest, and I think right now the short-term play, like you said, Ponzi, is to look for altcoin shorts. So I'd like to kind of pivot and hear what else you're looking at besides mana.
Fuck, man. I think the meat of the move is pretty much gone on a lot of these alts. Like
You're not wrong, man. Yep.
We had especially for entries, if you're trying to fill a mid 6-figure position on an alt short, you're going to chase the book down.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Like
Yeah.
I have my mana short is small, and it was just a headache to even nurture to get to the point where it's at. And I think if you chase into these regions, you get squeezed. So there is no more, in my opinion, there's no more, or at least I haven't found it, right? If I find it, I'll shill it. Like Wi-Fi looks like ass.
Yeah, someone actually said that, peep Wi-Fi. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. I guess the rotation's done.
I guess it's not the future of finance.
Yeah, I said something on stream the other day. It was, somebody asked me, like, everything looked bad. And I drew it out too. I was like, all right, look, we are running a full cycle, and in this full cycle we'll have, micro pops like this. Yeah. But what's essentially it's going to happen, it's just going to fizzle back down, and if we're really 2019 bound, we'll do this again, Yeah.
It's just that accumulation. It just runs everyone until they're done, man.
Yeah, and it'll happen. We'll get like a month or two of, pops, but at the end of the day, these fucking VC scam tokens are not going to see the highs they once had unless we get a complete distribution of tokens into empty hands and a brand new cycle rotation with capital.
Absolutely. So where do you think that happens? Sorry to interrupt, like what's your general take on like Bitcoin cycle theory and like where we're at right now?
Someone asked me that yesterday on stream, and I kind of froze. I've been scalping so much. I was like, I don't know. I still have cold storage. I still, I'll send myself half a Bitcoin a day or a month to my cold storage, and I'll just,
hey man, you're racking.
Add. Maybe in 2020, but right now it's just like, I'll always add. I'm macro in my eyes. I'm a fucking huge doomer on society and the current monetary policy and the current dollar situation. So at some point, crypto is going to shine and Bitcoin is going to have a crazy move. And it's not because Bitcoin is extremely valuable. It's because its trading counterparty is extremely, not valuable. So I think Bitcoin goes to 6 figures. I don't know how. I can't tell you when. The game of time frame is different than I'll just scalp till it gets there. But it's good to have a long-term bag, of course. But I don't know where it's going to be at in 8 months, right? We got the halving in a year.
Yeah.
And last halving,
We usually pump into that, right? So it's like
yeah.
we'd like to assume, 3 or 4 months from now, we're back at testing some of those highs of 25K or higher, basically. So
I don't know. What do you guys think of the rest of the year? The macro output is disgusting. What do you guys think of
it's terrible,
benchmarks?
dude. It's terrible. Trip, what are your
It's
thoughts on the
not.
whole macro outlook?
I think we just ran pretty hard. It's distributing. It's chopping people up, and for like Q2, we probably. I don't think there's going to be much happening. Maybe at the later end of Q2, you'll get like
DeFi
after,
summer start,
yeah, you'll
NFT
get an
summer, whichever one.
accumulation or something. But like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I know it's a trader's market, so I'll just try to catch one of these bounces because I think it'll happen in the next week or two on some of these alts because they're coming into key fib levels again. But it seems like market structure wise is just going to put in a lower high, and like, where they settle. Like what? How long was this? All right, so this is November 8th to, oh my God, December 15th, right? So you can get like, it goes here and then does that, right? For this long and just chop people up for like a month because we haven't put in like a level where there's anywhere where I think like a bottom is in or buyers might step in on some of these alts. Nor do I think it's on ETH or BTC. So until those levels come in,
What's the narrative that gets people excited? Is it just a happening? We're waiting for people to be like,
Yeah,
oh
I
shit, it's
guess.
happening, and let's bid, or is it like someone's asking about what are our thoughts on Vitalik coin going into Shanghai, right? Like we do have Gox distribution this week, next week, right? And then Shanghai in April got delayed too. So like I guess the catalyst, and I guess ETHBTC might even be kind of showing that basically that at this point in time, the only like positive narrative we have is like, all right, ETHBTC hopefully pumps into Shanghai. We get to A2, maybe alts have a little mini run again from all these lower lows they put in, and just again, like Trip said, kind of set these lower highs. So I'd like to assume and hope and pray that the narrative to bid is now Shanghai, right? It goes smoothly. We get to withdraw our locked coins, and more people gain confidence in locking up and putting in their stakes. So at this point, man, it's very bleak, but I agree. I think being able to short some of these lower highs or wait till things kind of puke out and then wait to long some of these lows after the dust settles is probably the right environment. But to your guys' point, like Ponzi said, he's just been scalping, right? This is a trader's market right now. This isn't where you swing for the fences, you go 100x long or short or anything like that. You kind of catch and release, and that's one of Tripp's favorite quotes. You just
like
see
that.
what the market gives. You take the setups, liquidity driven setups, and then you aggressively take profits. I think that's the overarching point, because like the less you do that, the more likely you're going to just give back and round trip a lot of your UP&L, and no one likes that, man. Round
I'm
tripping is
zooming
just
out.
terrible.
I'm looking at charts right now. Now that we like mentioned the 3-day, the weekly, the monthly, and it's fucking gross.
yeah, I'm looking at
Like,
I'm looking at 3-day ETH.
Terrible.
I'm like, this looks like it's going sub
what?
1400.
This just looks like it's going down to 400. Like
I'm gonna get
nothing about
vindicated at 777.
this literally just looks like it's fucking setting up to collapse. And
Yeah, the
BTC looks
acceleration.
the same.
Yeah,
Um,
BTC does not look good.
So
But
it makes me
The ultimate bid. I love it, dude.
yeah. Are we
Amazing.
gonna get it? I guess we'll find out in the next episode, right?
Yeah,
Whoops.
exactly.
It's scary, man. Like the macro hasn't shifted. In my opinion, we're in a disgusting recession, and if this is just a risk asset, then there's no reason it should act any differently. But
The store of value narrative has not held
now I'm
water,
really
as we've
taking this
seen.
whole move for granted because I could have
Yeah,
made
of
a lot more
course.
fucking money.
I could have not round tripped a bunch of entries, but here we
Holy
are.
shit. This looks so bad, dude.
yeah, I mean,
Hopefully we can doom post our way to a rally, right?
I fucking hope so. Oh man. I really at least hope we get the monthly open and fill some of this up here. And then I get to short. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
no, the
I'm
market
gonna
is
pull some
trending hard.
bids, dude. I'm pulling some bids. I don't even like the way this looks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Everything looks like it's going to kind of take a dump very soon. And with the dollar rallying, I just don't see the reason for risk assets to go up, right? Like I used to hate the idea of the correlation trade, right? Like after the COVID puke, COVID dump in March of 2020. I never looked at an S&P or DXY chart up until then. And everyone's like, no, they trade in lockstep now. Look at this, like ES up, BTC up, ES down, BTC down. I was like, oh shit, like this correlation thing might actually hold water. And then looking at the DXY, and it's like everything goes risk off when Dixie rallies, and everything goes risk on when DXY pukes. So at this point, it's like DXY is rallying. So why are we assuming our precious Bitcoin and our greedy little alts are going to do anything but puke their brains out, right?
Yeah, this is my only hopium.
I like
single line based analysis.
I love it. The simplest line, the simplest chart.
Just and this holds.
That's the retest we talked about, right? You saw like the thing, you bid a retest. There it is.
Yeah, at least something like this, please. Just give me like one more quarter of this.
Just one more trade, one more quarter to make it all back.
I am still bullish coin, dude. Amidst all this fuckery.
I almost thought about bidding it at like $45, and then
I have a pretty fat bag. I started filling at 36. My average is like 45 now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, right where I pussied out.
So if I round trip it, I'm gonna be fucking pissed because it's a solid 6 figures in P&L. But if I don't, if it gets to 45 and we get a solid reaction from the dollar collapsing and BTC bouncing, then I'll fucking double down probably and ride this thing to Valhalla with the Gen Spartan.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jen Spartan's the
he was the inspiration for it, bro.
Of coin, of course, dude. How do you fade Jen Spartan, dude?
You can't fade the
man
North
knows
Koreans.
What he's doing. Literally, dude. Between the hentai and the DeFi, like the man knows what he's doing.
Are you guys trading any sort of legacy?
No, I'm allergic to it, man. I just love my shit.
Really?
I love my ability to leverage with little capital and just enjoy. Enjoy.
Really, dude, Tesla was the most perfect short setup ever.
Oh, dude, my dad to this day hates me for telling him not to buy Tesla. Because I saw a chart from Kaleo saying it's going to 65, and I'm like, no, don't bid yet at 85. It's gonna go lower, and he didn't bid it, and he was so mad at me.
I put this trade up 2 quarters or in December, the short from here, and the take profit here, and I put this trade up a few days ago. This easiest bearish retest of all time, and I didn't take it. I'm a fucking clown. I just put the trade up because I don't want to touch options per se for at the moment, and I don't really like margin on equities. And there's no platform that allows me to really trade them in a decentralized manner. So I'll just put the trades up for my Discord and my streams and flex them later because they're always the best trades. But I won't take it. You
clearly have an edge in TradFi, bro.
Dude, this shit is 100% going to 65. There's just not a doubt in my mind. The cycle's over. This whole cycle is over. This thing.
Dude, Tesla's really just like a social token for Elon, right?
Yeah.
And like 100%. Elon is tapped out. So I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So I should get all my shit together and realize that there's money to be made here and just fund a fucking margin account on a traditional brokerage and actually put my money where my mouth is next time I see a setup like this. But there's some really good setups in the TradFi world right now too.
What are you looking at?
I don't know why Nvidia looks good.
Because they're pivoting to the AI narrative right now.
Are they? Fuck, why don't I have all these drawings on here still?
My boomer grandfather likes to tell me that he bought a bunch of Nvidia at 100 and then at 90 and then again at 85, and he's like, "Yep, it's going back."
Your boomer grandfather's outperforming us.
Oh yeah, I know that. He outperforms me anyway. So there's you can't
the way it goes, dude. You can't really do much about it.
He's all about his blue chip stocks with dividends. If it pays a dividend.
Have you looked at Ape at all? Because I guess one of the things you can start to look at is funding rates. So if any of the alts are like, a lot of them aren't even negative, but Ape is -8%.
This looks like a good squeeze.
Yeah, I can see that. It's basically at the range low, right?
But it's just so hard to actually set a trade up like this.
Like where's your invalidation? Like right below the range low? What if you sweep it and just reclaim it, right? And it's like you just took a scratch for no reason.
I would say, that's the thing. You have to be like at your battle station for this.
Right. You can't leave these. You can't set and forget these. Like that's my preferred way of trading, but you just can't do that right now. Because you'll get wicked out. It'll go back up. It'll reclaim and then like do the squeeze right after you're stopped, right?
If I was going to try to scalp this and let's say I was at my battle station for 12 hours, I would watch for a reaction of the lows taken.
Yep.
And then like eyeball my stop from 420, right? And then just see if I get the reaction, then I bid it up and push the books up myself And if I don't, then I corner myself and lose a bunch of money.
And then you slip a fuck ton, right?
Yeah.
Who bought Kava recently? Was that avocado?
That was avocado, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
negative
Yeah, that thing
16
ripped, right?
funding. So here's maybe the alphas go look at the funding rates. STG's negative 21.
What are you using to look at funding? I used to use
CoinGlass?
VBase.
CoinGlass. But like,
this is hideous.
here's the thing of with BTC and ETH, like it's not negative, and there's only like 3.6 billion in shorts on BTC, I think. Yeah.
Wait,
So like on the
There's still room for that delta to go further, dude. We've seen like 20 bill longs
seen
up
20
until
bill.
like 24.
This is what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. These red deltas, like, look, got.
And also look at all the green circles, dude. All those green
Yeah.
circles are just apes coming in at the lows, hoping and praying that they make it all back on that trade.
Yeah, so it just doesn't like, I don't know what ETH is on the notional amount, but this is when it's like this low from a liquidity standpoint. Looking at notional amounts on the delta, that's just telling you the liquidity is drying up significantly. Like,
Yeah, that's true too. That's a good one. I mean, again,
What
it's
is
PvP market, right?
what is ETH? 525 million. This thing used to go to 9 billion.
Yep.
It when so like, this is where like I kind of step away, wait, like, because volatility, less and less liquidity, less and less PvP, more and more on these altcoins, and I'm not the 1 minute chart trader guy that's going to be able to play that game.
Of course. I think at this point, it's like you kind of seek liquidity for yourself, see what the obvious setup is, and then you just punt that, right? Like Lito's been good to trade. It's been super volatile. I've actually enjoyed that quite a bit. But most of these alts are just like bleeding with no narrative behind them. So like Lito at least has like the quote unquote Shanghai narrative for the LSD narrative. But I don't necessarily think that, can we puke it down to $2 or $1.08 or whatever the case is? Like, absolutely.
I think if it runs $2, like, and goes to 190 or something close to that 61.8, then like, and you start to see a significant delta with people shorting it, maybe negative funding rate, seems like a high probability setup to long it for a trade.
I mean, it's on the daily key June right now. So like I took a trade this morning and closed pretty near the top. Actually top ticked on Phemex, believe it or not. But
pull the weekly chart on it. It had a weekly
9
stell on a DeMark. That candle is a 9.
TD on. But I mean, dude, the Tenkin's at 2.1, and then like if I just draw like this range, right, like the SE deviation thing, like mid range is 2.18, 2.12, whatever. I can see this. It taps into the cloud, chops around, but again, very BTC dependent. So I think if you're taking these trades without any knowledge or like keeping Bitcoin and the DXY in the forefront of your mind, you're probably doing yourself a disservice to kind of accept that you don't know what your downside risk is or even upside, regardless of which way you're looking at it. Because like, dude, at any point in time, like just to show the DXY, right? Like I've been staring at 5-minute charts the past 4 or 5 days just because I see DXY ripping, and then I see, XRP tried to pump, DXY pumps, XRP now just SFP, BTC starts puking. And then what's with Lido? Yeah, like every as soon as DXY starts rallying, dude, everything pukes. So it's almost like in lockstep. So at this point, like you need to be paying attention to these things, just because if you're trading without it, you're assuming that you know better than the rest of the market, which is a very dangerous sin of trading, right? It's like that conflating luck with skill, and then get overconfident, overzealous on your positions, and you end up slipping, dude. Especially if you're trading with any meaningful size in this market, you will slip much worse than you think. I can guarantee that, and from like speaking firsthand, when you're on the wrong side of it, it sucks. So at any point in time, especially since the market's still so PvP, it just makes sense to kind of lower your position size, be more greedy with your take profits, and just be more sensible with risk management.
Yeah. Actually, I want to add to that something that BitBit mentioned the other day on Twitter, which is very, very, very important. When we start to lose liquidity and volatility, people, especially I have done this, will start to size up because we need more money and capital to get the same amount of reaction out of a small move. And then that's when the funky shit happens, and you get a ridiculous move that catches you off sides. and you fucking blow up a larger amount than you intended to because you were oversized in an area
and you don't
where
know
you
what with the thin books, man, that kills you. And I think who said it? I think Jim Talbot said it the other day on a tweet. He was like, you guys are all like a bunch of peasants trying to like basically pillage an empty city that's already been destroyed, and like you're fighting for scraps, something along those lines.
It's
Man, it's
true,
like it's so
though.
true, dude. Like when volatility dries up, or not even when the books dry up, and you still see illiquid moves, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good trading opportunity. It just means that you're very likely to slip when the trade goes against you. So you have to be extremely careful with your sizing in this kind of market. Because again, PvP, I'll say that over and over again, there's no new influx of retail capital right now, and you should be very cognizant of the market conditions you're trading. Knowing when to floor it and when to kind of take a step back is kind of key to sustainability, right?
Yeah, while we're speaking about that, I just minimized all of my bid exposure that I had down to 21,420 because I thought maybe if the move comes, it'll be not what I
You'll set
want.
alerts, you'll watch it, and then you'll see the reaction. You won't catch the bottom. That's another thing. Like a lot of times people are so gung-ho about like bottom ticking, top ticking positions that they like, it's like the CMS meme, right? Like, do you want to make money or do you want to be right? So like very frequently we glorify traders on Twitter who are, top ticking, bottom ticking, when in reality, the most important part is how you manage a trade. Not necessarily where you enter, right? So you can have a terrible entry, but you can still size in and scale in according to, your risk parameters. But at the same time, how you manage a trade, are you round tripping that entry, or are you managing it, sizing in, and shaving off where you can, essentially. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, massive, absolutely massive.
What other alts we looking at, Sheeb?
Dude, I actually glad this is on my screen because didn't we have some Sheeb announcement yesterday that gave us this little liquidity
Arium,
to
right?
short,
Yes,
bro?
yes.
This would have been such a fucking great retest for a short. Look at that.
Yeah,
You
the
get that
unders probably
drive filled,
right
and
into
now
the
we're
wick.
right back down. This thing looks like it's ready to collapse
It's
too.
comical, actually.
Dude, that's free liquidity right there. And I missed it.
That's exactly what it is. It is free liquidity, and like those are the layup trades you want to take, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want
You
to be
catch
like,
something like that,
yup.
and then this thing will probably drip down to 95 cents.
Oh yeah, I can see that
All the
order block
charts
right
look the
there.
same.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's just which has more
Which is the
more
worst.
participants to trade,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes,
can
and
you
that's where
get
the
out?
hot ball of money narrative comes in, because it's like not that there's money rotating in, it's just like where are the bag holders going to start puking, right? And I think that's the key part.
There
Because
was
a
a
lot of
point.
these alts, like I don't necessarily think I'd want to like just short the breakdown, but you can with like a tight stop. But again, be mindful of the size.
What I do when I find myself in that situation where I'm like, holy shit, this could be the breakout or the breakdown, is I'll enter with really not meaningless size, just
Yep.
enough so that I'm controlling that desire I had to be in the position in case it does go, and I'm like, oh, I was right,
Yep.
and then I'll
Keeping
throw
your
up
pulse on the
asks.
market.
Yeah, and then I'll throw
For
up a
that,
bunch
for
of
that
asks.
retest, if it like bounces back, does that quick buyback, right? Like liquidate the late shorts, then you get actually filled the size you want at the level you want, not just trying to chase it down.
This is a beautiful example of like what demand is becomes supply, and then
Yes.
you have this like probably all of DeFi looks like this now. I
Yep.
just like to use Aave as a benchmark sometimes, but this is air right here. Like
It's
this is going
pure
to
air,
come
dude.
down to 65.
See, if I was like in that same mode you just talked about, like I'd short it here with a stop above the daily high right now, and then like if it does wick back on the new daily open, that's when I'd kind of size in appropriately. Because that looks like as clean a retest as you're gonna get.
And the odds
68,
of this
69
becoming just
cents.
a deviation and it doing this are so fucking low. You would need a whole
At this
macro
point, yeah,
shift.
yes,
You know,
100%, 100%.
so I'm sure there's a bunch of alts that look like this, but now it's in the in between point where you can't enter this now. I'll sit here. There are days where I'll just sit here. Everything looks fucking awful.
Just
Man.
terrible, dude.
I
That one
was
though,
hoping
decent.
to get
APT,
something like
yeah.
this, right?
Yep.
But I
I
don't
like
know if
that.
it's going to happen. I guess I'll try to bid 10 flat, magic number 10 round.
Yeah,
If
the
I'm at
Schelling
my
point.
computer and it hits $10, I'll bid it, and see if we get some sort of reaction. Maybe like fucking a 10% move. Not this is exaggerated, of course, but
No,
this
but
kind
that
of
makes
selling
sense.
is disgusting. I feel like it has to squeeze. What's the funding like on this right now?
On APT?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, 10 seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a psychological number, right? Like the Suzu numbers, they do work for bids.
Where is APT on here?
Wow, some of these coins look fucking disgusting.
I thought I just saw it.
Some morbid stream today, boys.
I hate making videos sometimes because like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I made a video where I was like, all right, I'm bidding all this shit because we're getting the retest that I wanted and everything looks great. And then it's
Funding's
like this.
neutral. It's not even negative.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you gotta wait till the sellers.
So
come
the
in there,
thing that
sell
gets
lows.
the thing that gets me is like, well, one, it's like I'm so I wouldn't say loyal, but just like when I see this stuff, like I don't want to short it because the whole time I've been trading on the way up was like I'm just taking profit when it was green and then buying when it was red, but now it's just extended red. Like, look at all
Which
these.
just shows you it's trending. It's not even range
Yeah,
bound.
yeah,
It's like
so
starting
if
to
you can-
trend down.
If you can get past that, but like these things are going to drop more, but I still don't want to try to short it here just because I'm like, oh, look at the delta, it's so red, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I was going back and forth with SZ on Twitter when he was talking about Lido, and I just had to bid that level I had, but I was like, oh crap, he's gonna be right. And like him and XO always smash these shorts, and I'm like, I can't bring myself to do it when I know that like there's some odd thing in the market, an announcement that could come out and blow them up. But
yeah,
it's very apparent just the extremely heavy selling by in the spot market, and that's just people selling out of a position from like a lot lower.
taking profit. Yeah, taking profit from
like
a lot lower, right?
lower. And so that distribution just takes a long time. APT, man, I remember that one. I remember Filecoin when it was just like an insane amount of shorts and thing just kept bleeding. But here, I mean, look at Lido. This was your 9. Like this is the weekly. Like, okay, like seems pretty feasible. You're gonna get at least this and potentially like here. So yeah, I mean,
Someone's asking about Phantom. I'm gonna take a quick peek at that.
Phantom looks like shit, dude.
It looks terrible, dude. I remember paper handing this on the Binance listing for like a 50% gain from the private sale just to watch this thing go fucking forever up.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah, it is the way it goes. Welcome to crypto. But yeah, this thing looks like trash. Again, like we talked about, kind of similar to Aave, right? Like if you really had to, scratch your, itch for degenerate gambling, you short, not right here, but like just for an example, you'd short and then you set a stop below like the daily high or the previous daily high, like this level, right? Like that's your bearish retest. And then kind of from there, it's all bets are off because, if I look at this, I zoom out to the weekly, this accumulation range we had from like call it 30 cents ish. Terrible drawing. But point being is like a lot of this just looks like the echo bubble, right? Like if I looked at the BTC 2019 chart, like this is what it looked like before it did the COVID crash back to, the mid range of the accumulation, which was like 3-4K. So I like Phantom as a short. I don't like it right here.
Look at the liquidity. There are 6 longs to 227 shorts. Like this is kind of insane. Yeah. And
it's 6 to what?
149 million in shorts. There are 6 longs to 227 shorts.
Jesus, dude.
Like I can't bring myself to even open.
No.
Like,
yeah, I agree with that. That's a huge fucking that is a no man's land. That actually looks interesting to bid. Not because I think it's going to go anywhere, but just because like when I see that type of skew, right? That's like my math is like 30 to 1, 40 to 1, shorts to longs like that. That's squeezable. So if BTC does find some sort of short-term bottom,
does FTN have negative funding? No, it doesn't even. That's crazy.
It's probably spot sellers, dude. Spot sellers
Yeah,
just dumping and
a lot of VCs that got a pump when they were, in despair mode.
Yeah, that's true. They literally got their exit pump. And I think, the echo bubble is kind of synonymous now with exit pump, especially on a lot of these narrative-driven bags that are really just pushed by VCs to exit.
Do you guys ever...
Blur is going to ever go up again?
Man, don't talk to me about Blur, please. Blur is not going Blur right now.
I think the economic model of Blur is beautiful. And like if they continue to outperform, they'll have a window someday to shine.
Holy crap.
But it's just been straight selling, dude. Like that's just a painful down.
Did you guys get in on the pre-sale?
I talked about it on Twitter all the time. I did not get in the pre-sale. I didn't farm any airdrops. I literally just traded the fucking coin.
So do we buy it at 34 cents? Sure.
Yeah, buy the open price on KuCoin. Or is that
Sheesh, that
negative?
reminds
Oh,
me of
no.
Uni. Remember the Uni airdrop where
Yup.
everybody? I actually sold that. I think that was a pretty solid airdrop, wasn't it? Like 5
It was like
figures.
50. Yeah, it was like 50, 60K if I recall.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I traded Blur a bunch on the way up. It was great. It was friggin' awesome coin. You could just trade spot on it too. It's like the perps were like trading on crack. I remember
Yeah, they had
people
such a
telling me
premium to them too.
trading that thing with leverage. It was going up like 30-40% in a weekend. Yeah. Someone at Amoeba put up a chart of like, is this going to do an APT and just do like, bottom out really, really, really long time? Maybe there's NFT season and then it goes up again. But
That's the thing. What's your thoughts on that Ponzi? NFT summer or DeFi summer? What's it going to be?
Dude, I hate to say it just because I have no exposure, but I think that NFTs will have a miraculous window of inefficient drives of just because they're such primitive tools, right? It's like
Yep.
bucket shop days. Less market makers, and now there are actually market makers for a lot of the NFTs, but like that inefficiency in itself, it's such a product that is prone to squeezing and
Yep.
prone to just classic speculating. It's like the traditional form of speculation in its prime. As long as there's no derivatives of it, it's going to be a great product to speculate on. But I hate trading NFTs, dude. Like I really
Altcoins with
do.
pictures, man. That's really
Yeah,
all
it
they are.
is.
And once
So,
you like gamify it that way, it's tough to kind of wrap your head like, why would I invest in said utility for fucking community, etc. It's just an altcoin with a picture.
and the blue chips are so efficient now, it's crazy. Like they're
Yup.
liquid. They're pretty much the benchmarks of NFTs, which is understandable, but they're doing fucking. They really are a great benchmark to understand how the NFT market is doing in general. I think there is going to be for sure a big move in NFTs at some point, and it's going to be when it's like Despair City, just like it was
Yeah,
in 2019 for alts, where
it's
you have.
coming
exactly.
Q2. It's coming Q2.
You heard it from Trip first.
Have you
I
guys
This has
have you guys
literally been my
traded?
plan for like since I don't know, before the year even started.
Yeah, it's
Coins
Trip's
pump
panda
and then the
thesis.
NFTs pump. People are gonna because ETH will go through a range, sit there forever, and then NFTs are gonna be the way to acquire ETH, and that's where the capital will flow into. I don't know what the inflection point or what's gonna make it happen, but yeah.
How's Sin look? Somebody just said Sin is under 92 cents.
Pandas is 10 yeah, gamble.
I love
gamble.
pandas. I love bags. I'll never fade
You
him.
you can't not. Yeah, don't fade bags, dude.
I
We had
remember
him
when he
on
first minted
2
them
weeks ago,
out,
dude.
and
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
it
a
took
tough mint, dude.
months. But
It was a tough
it was
fucking mint.
everybody was like, "Oh fuck, good luck, good try." It was a nice attempt, but whatever. We'll get him next time, guys.
Yeah,
And
literally,
then
we'll get him next time, guys.
and then he's like, "Fuck that," and he dumped millions into it, all of his time and effort, and he puts together this beautiful product, and now it's a fucking cult.
Yeah.
That's the
Pandas.
thing. You need to build a cult-like following for an NFT community to thrive and prosper. But on top of that, we had him on stream a couple weeks ago, and talking about real revenues is going to be huge for fucking NFTs. Like, you need to be able to produce revenue. You are at the end of the day an actual business, and businesses need revenues just like they have expenses in order
But
to
doesn't it
survive.
become a security at that point?
That was my question to him, right? Like, what's the systemic risk to NFTs when you really do pivot from the collectibles to like it has revenue streams, and it does become, in my mind, yeah, it's a fucking security at that point, right? That's the thing.
It's not our problem to deal with. So
No, exactly.
we'll just speculate.
Bags has
on
good
them.
lawyers, and I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll take care of it.
But it's ironic because we argue that these aren't securities, blah blah blah, and then we're like, but it needs revenue, it needs to generate income, and then it's like, all
We
right,
want
so
it to
what
be a
is
real
it?
business. So like, what is it then at that point, right? Like,
It's funny, man.
yeah.
Oh, there goes BTC, and I didn't even get out of this. I still have 100K gone. Fuck, I didn't even get out
Oh
of
wow,
it.
it's all
Dude.
nuking to shit. Oh, XRP's gonna print me though. Oh, I just got filled. That's
Oh,
funny.
here, do you still have my screen up? Here, I think
Yep,
I
I
have.
do. Jesus, got
I've
filled
been
again.
playing with Teal Street. It's been fun. I was trying to get. I had like 350K on this.
What's Steel Street?
It's a terminal. It's free.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I met with them in Singapore, and it's honestly, I like the execution. Super customizable. You got the Twitter feed here. You can look at licks, traders. I think we all come up on here. I've just been
That's
playing around
awesome.
with it because I'm doing a new bit where I just game. I play COD and I just put on like
I
stupid
tuned
positions
into
for
one of these.
fun.
You're not bad at COD, first of all, but yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
like a
thank you.
cool way to go about it.
But I just love the terminal. Honestly, I was trying to get out of this position before it started moving against me, but I guess not. So I'll just take the bid and call it. But this was kind of what I wanted to see happen. I minimized my size immensely because I'm not going to be at my computer for the next 12 hours. So I
Smart.
don't know, put on at maybe 10 BTC to 20 and then hope that we get filled and I can take it up here. I love the hotkeys on this thing too. Like I can just hold S and then just click here and like place a bunch of orders,
Oh, that's sick.
and then I can like chase the
Immediately
books.
it pumps and it just fills them.
That would suck.
That'd be funny.
So yeah, this is the mana position I was fucking telling you about, bro. I had they're working on the API integration for Phemex, but I had so many orders because I was kind of late on the trade and none of them got filled, so I ended up just pulling them all. So with you can't really be liquid enough, or you don't have enough liquidity to just market positions, especially, I'm not going to lie, Phemex alt books aren't the thickest. Most alt books aren't the thickest at this moment in time.
That's true too. It depends on like what the market cap of the alt is. XRP
So
is
you
pretty
just
liquid though, I will say.
yeah, you just end up chasing the books. But this makes
Yep.
it fun to chase the books. It's kind of like a game.
Yeah, as long as you can gamify it, crypto degens will throw off
Always
for
play.
it.
Always. But yeah, I mean, I think the easy mode is gone, which is upsetting. So
It is,
just
and it like
minimize size
I
and
like
have fun.
Hedgehog, dude. Hedgehog's like a very smart, bright guy I knew from a Discord back in like 2019 during the Echo bubble. And I do pay attention to his tweets. Him, Andrew Kang, and GCR are probably like my top 3 people. I'll like actually have their tweets on notification. And he talked about the Echo bubble being short-lived and everyone's kind of revenge longing. And that's literally what I see right now is everyone's revenge longing, trying to make it back. Like, no, the Echo bubble needs to go on a little longer. Like I thought it would, but you have to, as a trader, adapt and kind of take what the market gives, not what you want it to give, and like read it as genuinely and as, I guess, objectively as you can. So, I kind of want to pivot for a second, Ponzi. Can you give us some good, I guess, trading advice that you've kind of taken and learned over the last couple of years that's kind of maybe shaped the way that you think about markets, shaped the way you trade? Like, what's your top advice for like newer traders who are still trying to like get their feet wet and kind of put themselves together essentially?
Yeah. 2 things. Number 1, understanding risk on versus risk off and not getting caught in between. There's like
Huge.
maybe 5 times out of the year where you can literally pick up money from the ground for free and you don't have to
MGNR.
do shit. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Yep.
And then the rest of the year, you're going to lose all your money chopping it up. And understanding those two, and then the second part of that is being able to control your emotions to actually sit on your hands when it's time to sit on your hands. You
What's
just
a good way to
saw
do that?
find hobbies.
Ski, fish.
This
This
is
is why
I
I go
just
skiing.
I just took a hike with Salsa. Him and I, we hiked through the woods in Singapore for like 3 hours together, and we just chatted and chatted. And something that I always try to argue is that I honestly, I'm not like, I don't have runway for 10 years. Like if we have no trading environment for the next 2 years, I'm cooked. My spending habits are ridiculous. I fucking I need trading to survive. And he argues that if you don't have at least 5 years of runway, then you're not going to trade well because your emotions are in play. And
You're
I'm
not
starting
wrong.
to realize that, because one of the hardest things is when it's not easy mode and it's not time to pick up free money on the ground, you have to find something else to do, or else you're going to lose your money. And then if you don't have runway, now you're fucking revenge trading, and it becomes this vicious spiral cycle. And you're chasing this, capital value you once had, and you've got bills to pay. So just understanding when it's time to pick up the free money and not throw your money away. And 2, understanding when it's time to stop trading if you're fucking up a bunch. Like, have a system. If you made a bunch of mistakes in a day, get the fuck up and go do something and walk away from your computer. That's the hardest thing, is like, you'll sit in a position for 4 hours, it goes against you, you close it, it moves, you chase it, then you get fucking stopped out again, and it's the easiest way to
take 3
chop up.
haircuts. That's usually my rule. It's like 3 haircuts and I'm out for the day. Like,
Yeah.
go fuck off, do something else, go to the gym, go play COD, right?
Yep.
Whatever makes sense. You do need to find hobbies. Trip likes to ski. I like to bodybuild. It's really about finding that outlet where you can detach from the markets, right? Like, people don't talk about it enough, but like, crypto trading can become an addiction 100% if you let it. And like you wake up in the morning, you check trading view charts. You go to sleep at night, you check trading view charts. Like it's a real thing that's seldom talked about. And I think it's something that if you're going to be a full-time discretionary trader, right? Like I'm a point and click trader. I think you are as well for the most part. It really requires mental fortitude. So like being in the right mindset, treating yourself like an athlete, right? Like a superstar athlete who sits at his desk every day. He's in the right headspace. He's physically healthy and fit, and like even spiritually just like grounded. That'll help you make more objective decision making. And that's, I think, the key point to get across is like you need to have that outlet. And as a discretionary point and click trader, you need to be able to manage your emotions effectively, whatever that means.
100%, 1,000 times over. And also have other revenues of income. Don't isolate
Agreed,
to
man.
trading.
Agreed. As soon as you like live to trade, it's different versus trading to live. And like you know, Pepper talked about that 5-year runway. I've always operated on a 2-year runway just because I've had such faith in Bitcoin cycles that like my net worth will make it all back, right? But at the same time, man, like you really just have to understand that trading is a long haul, and a lot of people go for the home run trades.
Yo, pull up
Yeah,
BTC right now.
I'm literally watching myself get filled.
I just got filled
right now
for 180, 200. Fuck, I didn't pull all those bids. All right, well, this is the scalp that I mentioned on stream. So if we bounce here, the 21.5 area, I don't have
pull up BTC, Ponzi.
Here. Fuck, I didn't get all my fills, but if I kept that size, I'd be in for 25 BTC. But this is the exact reaction that I was talking about into the 21. So now what I would want to see, hold on, let me go to the 4-hour, right? This is now I'm not going to leave my fucking PC because if we get the reaction, let's say this is, I can't even draw a line. Let's say this is.
The man's so exhilarated right now.
This is what I want to see now. And then we'll target this monthly open here. So I would probably TP here, I'd TP here. But it's all about now, the next reaction for the next 4 hours, right?
Yep.
If this low holds, I'm comfy. If this holds,
yeah, I like that.
Damn, I shouldn't have pulled all those fucking bids, dude. That was so soft. You know who actually has a really great example of this? I got to pull it up. It's like his specialty, rect proof.
Yes, I know
this is what he.
Yep.
Same shit. So I think he's targeting. Yeah, that's the monthly open, right?
Yeah. Right at monthly open.
So, and another thing also to people watching, it is totally okay to idolize other traders, not just idolize, but like cross-reference your work.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Because you have something to learn from everybody, and if you're stumped and somebody else has an edge, try to understand their edge. Exactly. It'll help you so much, and then you
may not be able to manage risk the same way they do, but like understanding why they're doing something, I think helps you kind of contextualize. Oh, this setup looked good because of X, Y, Z. Not like, oh, they punted long here, cool, let me follow suit. Like being spoon fed is one thing, but understanding why a trader takes a trade, you can 100%. Learn immense value from that. Yeah.
So I'm in profit now. Actually, that was the exact reaction I wanted to see. Now I'll pull the rest of the bids because if we do retest any lower,
you don't want those.
this trade. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I like that.
Now I can like properly invalidate. My entry is 21.77, and then I'd probably invalidate, and I would do something like this. And now all I have to do is nurture it, because if I see it start to go against me, I can salvage some losses. And if not, then I have a great entry, and I just chill in my fucking sit on my hands for the next week. And then I'll TP and all, the points of control wherever we have some volume traded. I'll take like 10% off here if we don't get a reaction. I'll like 10% off here, and then ultimately I'll look for. I really hope that we don't have any horrible conversations on Friday with the Fed. But this is the play now. Now I have a plan, and now I'm comfortable.
Nice. So, you just talked about scaling 10%. Could you like talk to us a little bit about like how you actually manage trades, in the sense of like, do you split positions in thirds and halves? Do you scale out 10% at a time? Well, what's your go-to way? I feel like that a lot. I like to ask that of traders because everyone has a different system. And obviously it works for them if they're still trading, right?
I never have a single limit order as an exit or as an entry. I scale out the ass. My position sizes are so dynamic. And by a small like deviation, like if I was going for a 20 BTC position, it might only be 18 or, it might end up being a 22 BTC size position because of how I watch the market react and if I ended up chasing or not. And then my average entry will alter itself by, a few points.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, if it like totally depends on the macro picture, or not the macro picture, but the environment for the week. If the liquidity is nice, I'm seeing the reactions I expected in the regions that I expected. If the points of control are, taken quick, or we just cruise through different areas, then I'm comfortable not taking profit in those areas. But if I start to see like, a bunch of sells coming through that concern me, then I'll just start shaving off some of the position. Overall, I'd say if you can pull my screen up,
Yep.
I would say like in a normal position, this is where I'll end up exiting, and this is where I'll end up entering. So it's never just like, oh, I entered at
It's
this line
dynamic.
and I exited at this line. Because there are times, and I'm sure everyone has been in the situation, where we cruise up here, we do something like this, maybe we don't hit that TP, right?
Yep. It
At,
just misses it by a
yeah,
couple pennies or a dollar, whatever the case
whatever
may
it
be.
is. I got the meat out of my position here, out,
Yeah, I'll
So
usually sell earlier than what I actually have as a TP.
yeah,
So I'll be like,
I'll
and
set one, but I
Yeah,
don't
for sure.
expect it to
usually
get
If it
filled.
wicks while I'm not
around-
watching, awesome.
it's
Yeah.
usually around like specific liquidation levels, and then like looking at like 61.8 fib retracements back up. I will not sell the top, but I will be very happy with the entry and usually where I sell it if it is a successful long. Guys, look at Solana. This is insane. Look at how
520 to 34. Holy shit.
but look at everyone longing it. Like
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? Like when you see
like
apes longing the lows, I
here
hate
you go.
that.
Bam,
I
run,
hate
bam,
that.
run. Comes up here, bam, run, goes down. Like
That's kind of scary.
yeah, that's just like it's a perfect illustration of what the environment is.
Yeah.
Which is why altcoins are super scary to trade right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so BTC, holy cow. So that one, all right, so there was 3.5, now there's 8.5 billion. So yeah, where does it squeeze to? I mean, well, 21.9 seems pretty likely. Did it get up there?
21.9?
Yeah.
Almost.
And then your next big liquidity is 22.1,
Yep.
right? Like, so, did ETH do anything crazy? Like, or did ETH BTC hold up okay in that?
It held
I
up
haven't-
okay. It's actually holding up decently.
Let's see where ETH is stacked up here. Yeah, so, wow. I mean, it was 525 to 755. Didn't really didn't drop that much. There's still people long in it.
That's
But
the
did
thing. This is all just
FTM
liquidity. Yeah, what did FTM?
did FTM go up? Like, because there was only 6 longs, or did people long? Yeah, here you go. Bam, new ones. This is just not something that I mean, like, look at this. It's just like, where does it stop bleeding?
That's a straight downtrend if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess let's kind of run it
Yeah.
back and
Ninja just tweeted
Yeah.
over 70 million in longs just puked at the lows here, and the shorts are still adding. So
BTC?
So like
yeah.
that's a tough sell. I don't think it's done chopping if it is going to move here, but it's probably worth the punt, but you have to see the reaction. DXY is kind of nuking a little bit too, which bodes well.
So today's Wednesday. We have the only
2 more days,
Okay.
which is Friday. And
Chop City probably. We probably just go to 22.1 and just chop for the next fucking 12 hours.
Yeah.
As long as we don't revisit the lows that I had bid.
Getting in any positions.
That's the thing. You just don't want to see it go back to your entry, because if it goes
Yeah.
back to your entry, you're probably on the wrong side of it, right? Like,
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I mean, you got to reclaim 21.9.
Yep.
Yeah. For within the next 4 hours, I want to see us chilling above 21.9.
I see the DXY kind of nuking, which is like all I've been looking at. So that's kind of my barometer that maybe, just maybe, BTC holds here with DXY nuking. That's been my barometer for.
Hasn't Asia been selling everything?
Asia's been selling everything, man. Like the Chinese
Especially
narrative is
alts.
over, dude.
Yeah.
Especially alts, right? Alts, they got sick pumps on, etc.
I don't
Yeah.
know. This red line on the TD setup 21,394 or whatever. Isn't that your other level, Zorn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
can
we
see
only
it.
took, what was the low? 21.55 or some shit?
CB, yeah, 21,666.
So
on
I'm
CB.
still comfortable going down to 21.4. So what I'd probably do at this point is scale out a little, probably half of my position just above my entry, and then
Rebid
rebid
lower.
down, yeah, to
Yeah,
21.4
to average
and
in.
keep the
Yeah,
same
I like
stop. Yeah.
that. Makes sense. Yeah,
And
I
that
guess
way,
let's kind of bring it to an end here. I want to kind of
yeah.
close with asking you, Ponzi, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to a new trader or to yourself if you just started trading today?
Make friends, dude. A lot of the shit I learned were from people that are way smarter than me and had way more experience. And if you get to learn from them, then you won't have to make the same mistakes. It's kind of rite of passage to make those mistakes, but you can
Absolutely.
make them less costly if you surround yourself with bright individuals.
I like that. Finding a sense of community, I think, is definitely right. Like trading is a solo sport, but you can definitely gain a lot from sharing ideas, constantly talking with people, and kind of understanding how others think. Because, like, for example, in Fishing Club, Excel might share something about the footprint, whatever. Trip might see something on Hyblock, and it all adds confluence. And it's like there's more than one ways to skin a cat. So finding that confluence between traders and understanding that everyone has their own system, but at the same token, we can all arrive at the same conclusion, so to speak, for our trades. So yeah, I like that advice a lot. So with that said, thanks a bunch for coming on, Ponzi. It's been a great time, man.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah, that was super fun. It's good chat. Always good to get perspective like we just talked about too.
Awesome.
Anytime you guys
So
want to have me on, let me know.
will do, brother. So with that said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and once again, I want to thank our sponsor, Phemex, and we'll see you next week. Captain Cole signing out.